Disclaimer. The takes on this podcast may not be backed by facts or statistics. In fact, most of the takes on this podcast are backed by feelings, not facts. Unfortunately, podcast equipment is free to purchase by the public. Please enjoy this podcast at your own discretion.
Dude gets in a car wreck every single game. I am concerned for him.
I mean, RG3.
Yeah. Okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie beaming. Classic like Dom singing. Blasting like bombs ringing. I guess I define winning.
It's the same thing with Stetson Bennett. You were talking about Stetson Bennett and how he had all this time in college to develop and become like
I didn't know he had a
guy.
drinking problem. Sorry.
I'm just saying.
That was an unknown factor to me.
3
Guess
years
what?
in the league is very
Surprise, when you get new information, your opinion changes. I don't know if you knew that with your one-track mind there, pal, but that's how the rest of us who actually evolved work.
I didn't evolve. God made me. But no, I agree with you that like Bo Nix there is probably the right plan, and he's probably going to be the starter. I just don't like that they took Zach. Especially if they're not even going to plan on using.
They were going to
Zach.
cut him. They were going to cut him the Jets were going to cut him anyways. They
I
took a
don't
quarterback
agree
in the
with
draft
that.
anyways, bro. They were going to cut him.
Or did
He's
they
get-
take a QB in the draft because they didn't have Zach Wilson? What's the saying? Are you weak because you work at Starbucks, or do you go to Starbucks because you're weak?
I don't think that's ever been said.
It has been now.
I think
It
you
has been
you
now.
made that up.
Okay, I
think you
might have
just-
made it up.
Think
I
you
might have
just
made it up.
Made that up.
Well, let's talk about expectations. I don't have any expectations for the Broncos. I didn't write anything down, but I would love to get your
Yeah.
take. What's your
Um,
expectations with this team going forward?
I think we're better than 5 wins this year, what we were projecting them to be, but not much more. I still think there's a lot of growing pains. I don't know what our running back situation looks like. We took a running back in this draft. Who knows what Javonte Williams is going to do? Samaje P. Ryan, if he's come, I don't know if he's coming back. Jaleel McLaughlin, the UFA. Like, I have no idea what our running back situation looks like. So that's a big thing. Sean Payton likes to run the ball. So who knows what that looks like. I like our wide receiver room. I'm not like, this is the best wide receiver room in the league, but it's a good wide receiver room. I think the big question here is defense. We took an edge guy. We took Troy Franklin in the 4th. I think we took someone off the edge in the 3rd. Yes, we took Jonah Ellis in the 3rd and Troy Franklin in the 4th. And then a corner running back, another receiver, and a center. So, I mean, I don't know. My expectations for this team is like 7 wins.
7 wins?
Yeah.
Yeah,
2 less than
starting
we
out
were this
slow.
year. No, 2 less than we had this year. But better than initial expectations with, where we were at with Jared Stidham. Yeah.
Let's talk about the guy who's up on the board right now. Let's talk about Jaden Daniels, going number 2 to Washington.
Bro is so tiny.
Bro, he's too. Okay, here's the thing: is that we've talked about this, and I was like, he's 210. Every flipping ESPN, NFL.com, any flipping website that you look, his weight changes. Right now, it says he's 210. Right
Yeah.
now, it says he's 210. I swear
There's no way.
people were
he's
saying
210.
he was recorded at like 190.
Yeah,
like
bro. There's
200.
no way, bro, is 210. Like, looking at that,
Every
dude,
website I looked at.
when he was, dude, did you see how narrow, when he was in that suit walking up the tunnel, do you
He's
see how
6'4".
narrow okay, look at Drake May. When you look at that kid when he was walking up the tunnel, he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's got wide shoulders and a good build.
I
Jaden
think
Daniels is a slender dude, and that's concerning for me. Going to Washington where they don't know how to pass protect.
yeah, that's true.
And also with how he's doing it right now on the screen, taking off.
Yeah.
Dude gets in a car wreck every single game. I am concerned for him.
I mean, RG3 2.0.
Literally.
Injury wise,
The whole package. I mean, It's pretty darn close. When you look at the film, I think RG3 had a bit more open field speed,
Mhm.
and a little more giddy up, but like from the arm that he has, the way he can run, I see it, and injury. Like I'm worried. I'm worried that this is going to be a repeat and that Washington's going to have to go through this again, dude. But I I think he's really good if he can stay alive. But the question is, will he stay alive? Will he be smart enough to stay alive?
I think with this wide receiver core that they have there, we saw the crazy stats Sam Howell was putting up with that wide receiver core, and they like to pass the ball.
Well, that's because they
So
were behind in every
yes,
game
they
they
were
played.
behind in every game, but they have Brian Robinson Jr. I want to say great running back. This guy I really like. I would say expectation wise with Jaden Daniels, at least
5 wins.
yes, for winning, yes, 5 wins. But for offense, very explosive, very high numbers, very papery, good-looking paper team is what I would say. They
If
on the
he
stat
doesn't,
sheet,
if his head doesn't explode when he gets hit on the very first time he leaves the pocket.
yes, very true. But on paper, they should have pretty incredible stats with that wide receiver core that they have.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's a
It's
great offense.
Washington.
It's just a terrible defense and a terrible line. It's great wide receiver core, great running back, and now they have a great QB.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm concerned about that one.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
the more I've thought about it today, I'm more concerned about Jaden Daniels in Washington than I am in Drake May in New England. The more I think about it.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's because he does look so skinny. And I mean, we see the boy right now.
Look at him. Look at the shoulders on him. Look at
I
see he looks wider.
I
He's
think
younger too.
I do think he's
So he's gonna
230.
fill out. Yeah, but
We'll see it up here.
he's younger. He's gonna still fill out, and he looks bigger than Jaden to start with, and he's like 3 years younger.
Yeah. I mean we can just go right into it with this video. Let's talk about a little bit of Drake May going to the New England Patriots. Expectation wise for me, I have him probably least out of the top 3 because there's nothing in New England to help him. What are you doing over there?
4 wins.
4 wins? Yeah, I think that's realistic because there's nothing else in New England.
They'll be back in the top 5 next year to pick their receiver. So.
Yeah, it's just the Drake May show. So I think expectation was, I think it was a great pick taking Drake May. There was a little segment that the guy who coached Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck put out about him, and he said that Drake May is one of those. He's going to be a 10-year starter, and he's going to be great.
Listen, brother, if I know anything from Madden, he's going to be great.
Yeah. So I do really like him going to New England. I'm just worried about what he can do with their offense. There's nobody on their offense. I think they have don't they have Juju, or did he get traded again?
I think he's there, but they might have released him. I have no idea. He's washed. The thing I'm hoping is that Bill's gone. They'll treat the star quarterback like the star quarterback. They'll make him the face of the franchise. They'll build around him. They won't play the games that Bill did with Tom. They'll just be a normal franchise. And
I think
next
the
year,
games he played with Mac Jones is what I would say.
I mean, he still played games with Tom.
Yeah, 223, 6'4", 223.
Yeah.
So he's definitely.
And he's a legit 223.
Yeah, a legit 223.
Yeah. He looks wiry in that picture. Arms don't look very big, but the shoulders are still wider.
Well, he's also in that throwing motion. He's getting power.
He also looks taller than 6'3".
Yeah. And the one thing about this guy is his flipping, just like his pocket presence. That's the reason why I wasn't a big fan of Caleb Williams, is that Drake May has great pocket presence. I mean, obviously, Bill Belichick talked about how sometimes he will scramble when he doesn't need to, but that's all things that can get worked out.
If he can just learn to take the layups, he'll be fine.
Yeah. That's exactly what Bill was saying. But I mean, for ability as a quarterback, I think he is. I'd put him over Jaden Daniels just in that ability. That's just me.
If he can learn to take the layups and they can get him settled with his footwork, because like you said, he does have decent pocket presence, but he needs to get his footwork in line to where his upper body and his throwing motion are.
Which I would say
yeah.
footwork's probably the easiest thing to get. right? Arm talent, arm like accuracy, power. Those are all things that are way
And all
harder
that's
for a kid.
and by the way, all that's gonna improve once he gets his footwork in line. So like it's
Mhm.
already great. It's only gonna get better if he can get that in line. And it's gonna help settle him down. And I think getting that footwork, it's gonna help. It helps you settle down getting the layups because you're more
Mhm.
comfortable and
Yeah.
you can throw off platform and you know how to react if you've got a rusher, coming off the edge and you've got to step up in the pocket and throw on a dime. You need to take that 2 second. It's not, it's that half a second little pop step where you're just getting the ball out. All of that improves just with your footwork.
And you were
Um,
talking about confidence. That's the only thing I'm worried about is going to New England where there's nobody really to throw to make a play. I mean, if you're there for 3 years and they don't get anybody for you, I mean, it's going to be a huge
they'll
confidence.
be back next year. It'll be it won't. I'm not too worried about it. They'll be back in the top 5 next year.
They'll be back. All right, we got
So
a minute. Do we have anything more that we want to do? Do we want to start
Spencer
another one?
Rattler to the Saints is the best move in the draft.
You're high on Rattler, baby.
I'm wilding. I'm kidding. But in reality, though, I got a minute. I'm going to spend it on Spencer Rattler.
All right.
Derek Carr is going to see an early exit from the Saints. Spencer Rattler is going to step into the spotlight there. And newsflash, if Kirk gets benched and Penix goes into the starting spot there, I think they've got a good shot at winning that division earlier than we think they do, just because Atlanta has had so many years of Drake May and Kyle Pitts being poisoned by these terrible coaches and fucking offensive coordinators, to where even if they get a good quarterback under center, it's not, they're still going to be delayed in catching up. Spencer Rattler might take that division in the next 3 years.
Oof. That's the thing, though, is that he was projected to be the first pick overall. He was projected, and then all of a sudden, Caleb Williams comes into the picture, takes his spot, and then now we're supposed to believe he's buns, he's ass.